put a finger down if it's the summer after your freshman year of college, and so you're really broke right now and looking for a job, and you decide to go on this app called Center City that you used while you were back in college, and it worked out pretty well. So you're like, why not use it in Michigan? And so you're applying to basically every job you see, and you apply for this one job for this woman saying she's a single mother, and you're like, hey, my mom's a single mother, I'd like to apply, blah, blah, blah. And then she messages you back immediately asking you to work tomorrow. And so you say yes because it sounds urgent, and you see that she has twins and that they're toddlers. And so then she doesn't book it on the app because she claims that she doesn't know how to use it, and that already seems shady. But you're like, you know what, I'm a good person, she seems like she's really in need for a babysitter right now, so we'll go and figure it out the next day. And then you get to the next day, and she was a single mom, so it was just her in her house. But then this creepy old man comes out the door and tells you to come through the side door, and then she's not there. And so then you thought you were gonna get kidnapped, but it turns out that she was just late getting to her own house. But you know, okay. But then you get in the house, and the house is like really disgusting, and you're kind of like creeped out because like, what's going on here? And she hands you her baby that has like a diaper full of pee, and it seemed like his diaper hadn't been changed in days. And then you realize that the babies are definitely not toddlers, and they're barely a year old, and you're already upset. And then she rushes out the house and leaves you with her twins without booking on the app. So now you're like, are you even getting paid? But you're like, oh well, I'm already here. And then you're sitting there, and now it's 2:30, and you're supposed to be leaving at 3, but she was already late coming to her own house. So you text her like, hey, are you gonna be here at 3 o'clock like we talked about? And she's like, yeah, of course. And then 3:15 rolls around, and she's still not there. So you text her like, hey girlie, what's your ETA? And it takes her forever to respond. And then when she finally does respond, she says, oh, I'm not gonna be there at 3, I'll get there around 6, I have to do something for my boyfriend. And then you're like, hey girl, I can't do that, I have somewhere to be, I can't stay that long, you need to get here. And she's like, well, I have no one to help me, so you need to stay there. And you're like, no, I literally can't, so please like call your dad or something. And she's like, well, my dad has a flat tire and I have no one, so I don't know what you want me to do. So then now you're going back and forth with this crazy lady who's basically now holding you hostage at her house, refusing to come get her kids. And then you call your grandma and your mom, and your grandma comes to the house to help you out, and they both tell you to call your cops, and other people tell you to call the cops. So you finally call the cops, and you tell them what's going on, and the cops come. And then after you tell her you called the cops, she tells you a cop caller and is mad, but finally comes to her house because she's like, fine, I'm on my way. Where was that energy when you needed her to come there then? But she finally comes home, and then the cops arrive, and then you thought she was going to try to fight you, and she kind of tried to run up on you, and then she locked the cops out of her house. Oh, and you didn't get paid.
Okay, so this is exactly why you can't ever tell a man no. This is exactly why you can never tell a man no. So I used to work at CVS, and I used to have a coworker who he and I were like really, really cool. We talked about everything together. He was like my coworker homie, you know what I mean? And when I left, I felt really, really guilty for leaving him because honestly, he was like a really cool person. So I asked him, hey, do you want to go out for drinks? I feel really bad, like we can catch up, right? I was not interested in him. I just thought he was a really cool person. So everything's cool in this point in time. As soon as we leave, the entire week he is bombarding me with messages. He's trying to call me. He's trying to FaceTime me. And this has never happened before. I was like really shocked that he was doing this. And I kind of told him like, hey, you know, sorry if I'm not answering your calls or I'm not texting you as much because I'm like kind of busy. I have my own life, you know. And he kind of got really upset with me for not trying to reciprocate the same attention he was giving me. It was like a little creepy. Mind you, this man is probably 20 years older than me. So I was kind of creeped out at this point because I'm like, does this guy like me? I don't understand why he's like doing this. He's never done this before. So I'm getting a little creeped out. So then he constantly texts me every single day. So I finally muster up the courage and I let him know, you know, hey, you know, I'm noticing that you're messaging me a lot. You're calling me a lot. So I just wanted to ask if you're interested in me. If you're not interested in me, I completely understand. I'm so sorry for assuming, but please let me know because I just see you as a friend. But, you know, like I feel bad. I'm sorry if you're not interested and I'm assuming, whatever. This man writes a novel. Basically being like, you have issues, why would I be interested in you, why would I ever want to date you, you're like a literal piece of shit. He writes a novel. Okay, after this point I'm like, you know what, I'm going to block this guy because he clearly got offended by me just asking a simple question. So I block him, and then weeks go by. I unblock him because I'm like, he probably has left me alone. He probably already figured out that I blocked him and he's not going to message me anymore. Nope, he continues to message me. So at this point in time, I'm like, you know what? You need to leave me alone. Leave me alone. I am not interested in talking to you. I am not interested in texting you. And I send him that message and I block him again. Fast forward, I go to my mailbox because I was trying to get a package. And then this letter comes in the mail. What does it say, you may ask? It's basically him trying to prove to me that he doesn't like me. Are you kidding me? I have let him know that if he tries to contact me again, I will contact the police. This is why it's so hard for women to say no.
Facebook Marketplace is full of scammers that you think are cute little innocent grandma and grandpas. I'm moving and I'm trying to sell this beautiful queen size canopy bed frame and brand new mattress if anyone's interested in the New York City area. And at least 8 people have already tried to scam me in the last 2 hours. They find your ad, they ask you if it's still available. You're like, yeah, it's available. They're like, can I pick it up this week? You're like, yeah, you can pick it up on Saturday the 11th. The super sweet girl who seems like she's super normal and sweet is like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. My niece is gonna love this. And then they're gonna say, I'm gonna pay you on Zelle, but I'm gonna need your email or your phone number so I can Zelle you. No, they don't. They're scamming you. If they ask you for your Zelle info, they're scamming you. If they ask you for your phone number, they're scamming you. If they ask you for your email, they're probably scamming you. And if you give it to them, you're going to get an email that's from Zelle support saying that you need to put $500 more in your own account to make it a business account. They're scamming you.
I'm going to tell you a story that hopefully explains why perspective is so important. So here we go. At the age of 17, I was made to work because my stepdad wanted me to pay rent and to contribute. So I got a job, but that wasn't enough for him. He would constantly kick me out whenever he wanted, and eventually he realized he could just raise the rent on me. So he did. Every time he threw a tantrum, he would raise the rent higher. And it got to a point where I had to work 3 jobs in order to pay the rent that he imposed on me. I was working at a theme park, at a salon, and at a bookshop. Okay? And I would work sometimes double shifts, so I'd come home super late. One day that I will never forget is that I came home from a double shift. It was holiday time and I had not eaten. So I made some pizza rolls for myself in the oven. Mind you, it was like midnight. And he comes out of the room and he's like, I want some. And I was like, okay, well, I haven't eaten, so let me, and it's a small pan, so let me just make you a new batch. And he was like, no, this is my house. That's my food. You have to share with me. And I was like, I have not eaten. Please just let me eat. I will make you a new batch. He got angry and he kicked me out for the night. He was like, I don't want you here. So here's the kicker. My mom was there. She's in a corner. She's seeing all of this. And I had to leave, right? I called my friend. I was like, hey, can I stay with you for the night or for the next couple days? And she's like, yeah, sure, come through. So as I'm leaving, mind you, she doesn't stop him. She doesn't say this is wrong. She stays quiet, you know, being what she believes she needs to be, which is the submissive wife, because, you know, God will make him pay for it later. And she hands me a green pear. I'm walking out the door and she says nothing to me. She just gives me a pear. And this is where the perspective comes in. I know some of you diehards in the comments are going to be like, at least she gave you something. My mother, no. This isn't a competition. And this is where perspectives come into play. Because some of you will be like, be grateful she gave you a pear. But those of you who understand and went through this type of trauma will know that her giving me the pear is her essentially saying, I know that what he's doing to you is wrong. I know that the situation is wrong, but I am not going to intervene. Because essentially you are not worthy enough nor important enough for me to intervene.
Okay, if you struggle with your foil and plastic wrap drawers looking like this and never cooperating with you, then you need this 2-in-1 bamboo wrap dispenser. It holds your plastic wrap, aluminum foil, parchment paper, you name it, all in one place to help make your drawers more neat and organized. It also has built-in sliding cutters for each slot to ensure a clean cut every single time. And it even comes with 21 label stickers if you want to label each spot. This has made my drawers so much more organized and hassle-free.